This episode is made possible by listeners like you. Your support means everything. Thank you for tuning in. Prepare for warp speed as we embark on a voyage through the vast expanse of science fiction in movies and television series. From distant planets to alien civilizations, we delve into the heart of the unknown, unraveling the tales that have captured audiences for generations. Get ready to unlock the secrets of the universe on Code Flix. Greetings, fellow sci-fi and fantasy enthusiasts. Welcome to Code Flix, the podcast where we dive into the TV shows and movies that fuel our imaginations. I'm Andre Bonner, and I'm beyond thrilled to have you here for a very special episode, our season finale. It's hard to believe, but it's already been a year of amazing conversations and discoveries. Today, we're celebrating by revisiting some standout themes and unforgettable moments, reflecting on the journey so far, and sharing a few of your thoughts and feedback. Plus, I'll give you an exciting sneak peek at what's coming next. So sit back, relax, and let's dive into this season wrap up together. My reason for having this podcast is because I've always wanted to have someone to talk to about TV shows and movies, especially growing up as a child. There were things that interested me and excited me, such as X-Files, Xena Warrior Princess, Hercules, Immortal, Nightman, and movies such as Equilibrium, Blade Runner, Johnny Mnemonic, The Matrix. I could go on, right? So there is a lot of movies out there and TV shows that really have a lot of heavy opinions on. I've watched them time to time, multiple times. And I created this podcast just to look at the things that are central to understanding the world. I've come to understand the world that we live in and have a great appreciation for the world that we live in through a scientific lens, a science fiction lens. It is fiction, but there are a lot of elements in there that really says this is just an exaggeration of life. So if we were to take it down, we could dial it back and look at the themes and symbols in life that mirror what is in the science fiction genre, because many of the creators and the writers and producers, they came up with the ideas, series, movies, and films with the essence of real life, ideas and concepts that inspire them to make this the theme or symbol of a particular movie or series. I wonder if we took this direction and what it would be like. Would it be better if time travel was invented? They wanted people to look at it and understand the exaggeration, the motivation behind it, and its relevance in society. So this is why I continue to be motivated to every week try to release one episode, at least one episode. No matter how tired I am, no matter how much editing I have to do, how long the episode will carry, I try to do them in bits, in pieces, I have several different things that I'm working on separately outside of the podcast, and I try to not get too overwhelmed and release these episodes. The gratification and motivation of having you listen every episode and comment and share your feelings. I feel like I have just put out something in the world that is of great importance to our lives, and that someone will turn around one day and they will say, it is because I listened to an episode of Code Flix and it would have inspired me in some way. It's going to be really hard to always try to be as vocal about certain topics because some people might not appreciate the seriousness or the honesty that these things bring. But it is important that we all understand and express the truth of the matter at hand. And this is why I try to do as much research as I can, get to bring on guests and other persons who might have even more ideas and have been more expertise in that particular area. Yeah, that's pretty much what is on my mind.
Looking back, we explored some fascinating themes this season. Remember when we dissected mystery and conspiracy with the X-Files, where we're seeing government cover-ups, extraterrestrial life, and supernatural phenomena? Or with Bodies, where we saw a time loop murder mystery, free will and fate, and a conspiracy across different timelines? Or even From, with its horror mystery about people trapped in a nightmarish town with supernatural threats. And then there was cyberpunk and dystopian futures, such as Blade Runner, where we saw how AI, identity, and what it means to be human, or Minority Report, with free will, determinism, pre-crime law, enforcement, and moral dilemmas. The Matrix, with simulation theory, reality versus illusion, and rebellion against AI control. Or even The Sixth Day, with the idea of the cloning ethics, corporate corruption, and identity crisis. And then there was time travel and alternate realities. Inception was one of them, with dreams within dreams, subconscious manipulation, and reality perception. Then there was Time Cop, with the time travel regulation, paradoxes, and the whole idea of preventing criminal misuse of time travel. Oh yes, Interstellar was space exploration, time dilation, and the survival of humanity. And who could forget the very special episode with my wife? What happened to Monday? Overpopulation, identity, and the government control in a dystopian future. And then there was sci-fi action and war that was explored with Space Above and Beyond. It was a military sci-fi human survival against an alien war threat. Nightman was a superhero crime fighting with a mix of technology and mysticism. And of course, Mad Max with its post-apocalyptic survival chaos and the fight for scarce resources. Oh yes, horror and extraterrestrial threats. With Alien, which is a survival horror, with fear of the unknown and corporate exploitation at the center. Then there was Sandman as well, with the dream mythology and the supernatural realms and personal redemption at the end. And then finally, we explored fantasy and mythology with good omens, biblical apocalypse, friendship between an angel and a demon, and fate versus free will. Ahsoka, a Jedi legacy, intergalactic conflict, and destiny. And Lost in Space, a family survival in space, exploration, and human ingenuity. Of all the TV shows and movies that I've done over the year, these themes and TV shows and movies stood out the most to you based on the feedback I've been given and also from the stats I'm seeing on the downloads and listens that it has received. So, one of my personal highlights from my favorite moment over the season has been doing the very first episode, actually, right? Which was the X Files series, right? And so, truth be told, I didn't get to finish watch every single season as I would have loved to, or in its entirety, but I knew where the story was going based on watching a few episodes here and there, and I would have gotten as far as Mulder and Scully uncovering the conspiracy with the smoking man. So you remember that man that I mentioned, and I, at the time when I was doing the episode, I was only thinking about just presenting it in the best format I could, how I would listen to it, or what I would learn from even listening back to myself. And it was really a joy, and has been a real joy. Yeah. Then there was Space Above and Beyond series. Right? One of my high performers. You guys listen to it a lot. So I enjoyed doing this one as well. At the time when I was doing it as well, I didn't have time to record stuff. So I ended up getting, some other voices on the episode. And it was, it came out the way I was expecting, but it wasn't the best that I think I could have done. And I felt like, you know, it reflected in the way that, the episode might have went, right? And there was Inception. So Inception for me was the greatest dream of doing an episode because I felt like even when I was doing it, I was like, haven't I done this before? But then I remember that, you know, Inception was the one of the ideas when conceiving of this podcast. It was one of those movies that I really, really wanted to do. And when I finally, decided to do it and got stuff together to do it, I felt like I had it every mark and, dot every T, cross every I. You know what I mean? So yeah, it was one of those that I really enjoyed doing as well. And then there is What Happened to Monday, another great one, which was done in collaboration with my wife. And when we actually sat down to do the recording, we actually recorded an entire segment. And when it came to editing, that segment got lost. So you guys missed out on something that would have been awesome, I think. But the fact that the episode is one of those top picks for you guys, I'm saying, it did come out well. and my wife enjoyed did it doing it with me, and I really hope that if you guys really want her back, then you know what to do, right? You can listen back to the episode. Yes. And then there is Good Omens, right? Not too long ago, recent history. Good Omens to me has been completely out of left field. I kept looking back and doing my research in terms of looking at whether this was really in the genre of science fiction or fantasy, and whether I will be doing justice by actually doing it as a podcast episode. I did enjoy the series, and I didn't want to not have somewhere to come and talk about it. So it was good omens, and there was no bad. That's all I can say. It was a joy from the beginning to the end, and it showed in the fact that you guys enjoyed it as well. Or I'm seeing where it seems to have been re-listened to and all of that. So yes, that it was really good. Of course, there are some notable ones like Nightman and From, Bodies, Time Cop, The Matrix. These are some of my favorites, among the greatest ones, on the list. So, yeah, I want to thank you guys, let's take this moment to thank you so much. You who tuned in every and each week, right? And even though I don't get a lot of feedback, guys, I don't get a lot of feedback on the comments, I do feel the love from you just listening, just tuning in, just, putting it up on your favorite podcast app and listening, and even sharing it with friends. It shows, and this is what's gonna keep me fired up and fueled to continue this journey of sci-fi with you guys. Okay? And now it's time for our Best of Sci-Fi Awards. The first for this podcast. There are some categories I created based on the feedback that I receive and my own experiences this season. All right. First up is Best Plot Twist. And before I announce the winner, obviously, we had several worthy nominees: The Matrix, right? Minority Report, Inception, The Sixth Day, and Bodies, right? And you can choose your winners. I'm just kidding. I'll give you the winner. So the winner is dun, 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 dun. Minority Report. Next, we have the most iconic character. The nominees are The X-Files, Blade Runner, The Matrix, Alien, Mad Max, The Sandman, and Good Omens. You can go and listen to some of the episodes now if you feel like, it might push the score. But the most iconic character winner is Good Omens with Crowley and Aziraphale. Next, we have Best New Sci-Fi Series. And these are post-2020 shows that stand out. The nominees are From, Bodies, Ahsoka, The Sandman. And the winner is
From that mysterious tone with supernatural horror and gripping suspense that has another season coming up. And finally, Best Storytelling. The nominees are Interstellar, The X-Files, Good Omens, Inception, Lost in Space. Get those votes in now. Go back, listen to the episode. And it's a two-way tie of Lost in Space and Interstellar. Would you rank any of these differently? If so, leave them in the comments. We'll be right back after these messages. If you enjoy the podcast and want to help if you grow, I love your support. Since me not monetize, the goal of the podcast is to get more listeners who will share the passion of sci-fi. So me I beg you to share the podcast with your friend them who enjoy, and don't forget to leave a comment. Your support and your feedback make a big difference to bringing the podcast to you. So what's next for Code Flix? Without giving too much away, I'll say this. Next season, we're diving deeper into the unknown, into mysteries, into conspiracies, into the dystopian, into time travel, sci-fi action, war, horror, fantasy, and mythology. Stay tuned and be sure to subscribe and follow the podcast so you don't miss a thing. The journey through time and space isn't over. It's only just begun. Season 2 of Code Flix is coming, and this time we're going deeper into the heart of science fiction. More epic movies, more groundbreaking television series, more twists, more mysteries, and even bigger adventures. But here's where it gets even more interesting. We're connecting these imaginative worlds to real scientific innovations shaping our future. From technologies once thought impossible to the ethical dilemmas we face today, science fiction isn't just fantasy. It's a mirror reflecting reality. Season 2 of Code Flix is almost here. Buckle up. The adventure is about to begin. This is where science fiction meets reality and innovation sparks imagination. Thank you for being part of this journey. Your support, feedback, and enthusiasm have made this season unforgettable. Until next time, keep exploring the realms of science fiction, and remember, science fiction is not just fantasy, it's a mirror reflecting reality.
Hello and welcome to Code Flix, the crap thing, man. Like I don't understand. I need to do these as and Mark Verindi. Very. So here are So here's an analysis of the one. So here's an analysis of the movie. Perhaps one of the most talked about vampire movies of my teenage years was Blade. It had been given some rather negative press. The idea, sorry, the idea of bloodthirsty creatures who are immortal were enough for many who dismissed the movie as a demonic. Blah. Greetings, fellow sci-fi and fantasy lovers. Welcome to Code Flix, where we explore the TV shows and movies that shape our imaginations. I'm Andre Bonner, and in today's blah blah blah. Greetings, fellow sci-fi and fantasy blah. Episode 7: Pressurized. A catastrophic event forces the Robinsons to split up. Each group faces unique dangers leading to emotional and physical challenges. So, while John and Judy are you ready, kids? Aye, aye, Captain. I can't hear you. Aye, aye, Captain. Oh, who lives in a pineapple under the sea? SpongeBob SquarePants, he's floating in yellow, he's floating in the sea. SpongeBob SquarePants, there's nothing just of you. It's SpongeBob SquarePants. I flop like a fish. SpongeBob SquarePants. SpongeBob SquarePants. SpongeBob SquarePants. SpongeBob SquarePants. SpongeBob SquarePants. And in today's episode, we will be exploring the reality of the wheel, the movie, The Matrix. Greetings, fellow sci-fi and fantasy enthusiasts.